Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to today's edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called A Forbidden Secret, written by Laughing Target. The Journal of Moon and Aris, Professor Emeritus, PhD Anthropology, Rigel University, 19th April, 23498. I find myself torn with a great moral dilemma as I write this. Here, in my waning years of life, I am compelled to write about a profound experience I had before my fading mind forgets. I'm not even sure if I should write these words, bound to an ancient method of pen and paper, which can be both easily hidden and easily discovered and read. The method of recording these thoughts is further proof of my confliction. My conundrum stems from the subject matter, humans. We hounds are all familiar with the humans. They, since before our oldest written record, have been our friends, trade partners, scientific collaborators, and allies in war. There isn't a hound in existence that doesn't love the humans. They, too, equally love us. My memory starts on our homeworld, Kano. Back then, I was a young undergraduate in a Kano University anthropology program. We had recently discovered the ruins of an ancient city in the vast Thailand desert. An unusual windstorm had blown away the sands where, by pure luck, a survey aircraft spotted the top of the tower buried in the ground. You might be wondering why this is considered forbidden knowledge. The location of the prehistorical city is common knowledge. We discovered many pieces of art, pottery, and tools which are now on display at the Vallis Planetary Museum. It's what I discovered there and sworn to secrecy that I find myself wondering if I should even reveal. I'd earned a position as a student assistant on the team of the renowned Professor Ardenau Jones. It was a dream to be selected to assist in uncovering the secrets of our long-forgotten ancestors. I was assigned to what I thought at the time was an inconspicuous section of the city. My task was to carefully uncover the ancient stonework plaza hidden under the sand. We were tasked with carefully sweeping away the sand to expose the masonry. Even though my graduate student peers considered it busy work, I was ecstatic. Here I was, a son of a poor family from deep nowhere, participating in the find of the millennium. It was on the 5th day of the dig when the event happened. I decided to return from a midday meal early to continue working alone before the others returned. I was sweeping away the sand from my section of the site when the ground shifted. I lacked the wherewithal to move when the stonework began to collapse. I fell 20 meters into a previously unknown cavity under the plaza. To this day, I don't know how I survived the fall without injury. It's possible I hit the sand pile which seeped in through the weakness in the mortar and rolled. In either case, I had become trapped in a cavity beneath the street, and no one would know I was there until I missed my evening check-in. At first, I was afraid. The thin beam streaming from above might as well have been measured in light years for my inability to escape. After some time yelling impotently for help, I decided to distract my mind from the panic by exploring my new space. After leaving my sweeping tools visible from the opening in the ceiling, I activated my light and moved on. What I found was incredible. Many murals were painted along the walls and down a long tunnel leading further underground. My panic was forgotten in the rush of discovering the artwork. The images depicted life of pre-industrial hounds. Farming, blacksmithing, architecture, and daily life were depicted in over a dozen tilework mosaics made of finely made and assembled ceramics. The color was amazingly well preserved, protected from the harsh radiation of the sun. This is where I found the secret. After a mural showing the coronation of a long-forgotten king, I encountered a mural showing a huge discovery. It was our first contact with the humans. I remember my muscles straining from the smile on my face. The mural showed an ancient spacecraft landing in a field, emerging were clearly images of humans, their hands raised in their friendly manner of greeting as a dozen walked out towards the hound delegation. Then my smile vanished. With the following mosaics, it horrified me. On them, hounds were savagely murdering the humans. It showed the images in gory brutality. Humans stabbed with spears, hounds using their jaws to bite out human necks, human bodies impaled on spikes and cooked in stews. The human ship was scavenged and the metals converted into weapons and objects. I recognized as electronics converted into war trophies. They went by the dozens. I was sick. Our ancient ancestors had brutally killed and even consumed our friends. Our allies. How is this possible? The nature of the mosaic changed. Another depicted more human ships arriving. The first ship was shown as docile and weak, made of soft curves and white tile. The new ships were shown as aggressive and terrifying, with dark, sharp lines and spears protruding from the hull. From those ships, legions of humans marched. They held stick-belching fire as terrified hounds fled, their feet trampling over bloodied hound bodies. The next few mosaics depicted the war. No, not war. Slaughter. The humans, using their advanced technology, crushed armies and toppled nations. They had conquered the hounds in response to the aggressive first contact. Images of hounds in rags with chains attached to their necks dominated the next images. Something I noticed was the humans had expressions not of conquering victors, but with sadness. The humans clearly didn't enjoy or revel in what they were doing. The image that truly challenged me was the one that showed hounds in cages. A long, detailed mosaic showed captive hounds in a cage on the left end of the mosaic. The hounds are depicted as aggressive, cruel, and savage. Before them, humans in a firing squad held their rifles, faces downcast, as if they didn't want to perform the task. Right at the end, more hounds were in cages. These hounds were shown as soft, kind, and docile. Before them, humans were offering food, clothing, and care. As the story continued, I noticed the aggressive hounds from the large mosaic had vanished. The chains on the hounds began to vanish. Their clothing improved, and the images became friendly. Cities began to form again, and there were images of hound leaders being handed documents symbolizing independence. I found the final image before encountering evidence of an entryway enclosed with stone. The final image was the humans unloading what I recognized as an ancient fusion generator. I understood what I was seeing. The ancient hounds who created these mosaics in the long-forgotten archive did so after the first fusion generator was delivered. They knew the truth of what happened with the humans, and they didn't want anyone else to know when they sealed the space away and left it to the ravages of time. I returned to the small opening, shocked by what I had seen. Above, I heard a shout. It was Dr. Jones. He dropped a rope into the hole and came down to inquire about my safety. I showed him my find. Like me, he was at first enthralled. He mirrored my disgust and contemplation. What Dr. Jones did next surprised me. He removed a pick hammer from his tool belt, instructed me to collect mine, and he began systematically prying the tiles from the murals and crushing them to dust. I was aghast. Here was the premier archaeologist of our people intentionally destroying our history. I cried out to him as to why. He only grimly told me that no one can ever know. I was young and afraid, so I followed his orders. We eradicated our past. After exiting the hall, I returned to my tent to the fading twilight sun. The red glow, I pondered the story I saw, and Dr. Jones' actions. Then I recalled the humans and Earth. The humans have a number of pets. A substantial number of them are predatory animals. Other large predators exist on Earth as well. I remember seeing an image of a massive white animal called a polar bear hunt and kill an equally gigantic animal called a walrus. Then in the next video, the same polar bear, happily padded up to a human, presented its belly and asked for a rub. I had inquired why this dangerous wild animal showed such affection for humans. It was explained humans realized predators were an important part of their ecosystem. They also recognized the danger they posed. Their ancient ancestors approached the danger by killing off large swaths of predators in their species. It proved disastrous for their ecosystem. So the humans devised a plan, using the same method they called domestication, used on their pet dogs and cats. They began to selectively breed every predatory animal on their planet. The animal would remain wild and their hunting instincts intact. The only difference is those animals would not see humans as prey and behave in a friendly manner. It worked wonderfully, as humans were able to rehabilitate their fading ecosystems, while no longer worrying about encountering creatures harmful to them or their livestock. That's when I connected the evidence. The long history, our aggressive posture, and the images depicting humans cunning dangerous hounds. I understood in that moment why we find friendship and kinship with the humans. They and their ingenuity have granted us a wonderful life where we are free from want and can raise our pups without fear. We combine our physical might with their technological prowess to keep aggressive enemies at bay. Our trade and friendship grow both our people. We hounds have been domesticated by the humans. They spent unknown generations removing the harmful and dangerous members of our society to create a species they could coexist with peacefully. This is where my dilemma arises. What the humans did, it offends all my moral and ethical beliefs. It is in violation of the very essence of intelligent species. However, I still find myself conflicted. When I saw the images of how we hounds attacked the humans, how we savaged them, I recognized our terrible past. The humans could have easily wiped us out and eradicated us from the universe. Yet they did not. They saw us as valuable, as deserving to exist and live. They didn't want to erase us from the galaxy. They didn't take the easy route to ensure there wouldn't be thousands of years of strife, war, and hate. They ensured that we would not fight by ensuring those who wished them harm could not persist into the next generation. Was it justified? Was it good or evil? I have struggled with morality of our secret history with the humans. As I aged, I began to understand Dr. Jones. Would it be a good idea to reveal this story? The hounds and the humans coexist in peace. Everything between us is incredible. What would happen to our friendship if this knowledge was revealed? Clearly, the humans are also shamed by this history. They have detailed records dating back to thousands of years before their discovery of electricity, yet their data on the first contact with the hounds is depicted as peaceful. I don't know. This confession is confined to paper, as I stated above. I wonder if I should even allow it to exist. As I further lose my mind to the ravages of time, I wonder if I should drop this journal into the nearest fire. I am the last hound alive who knows the truth. If you do find this, no, I did not discover the answer. All I ask is you don't think poorly of our friends. They, too, are as ignorant as we are to our dark history. Maybe it's best to let past lie in the past, but that's up to what you do with this information. End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.